welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
And tonight, Shona has the countertop filled up with a whole lot of proof.
Oh, it's going to be a hot one.
A whole lot of proof.
So these are all brand new bourbons on the show. We've not had a single one of these on our show. We have tasted two of them recently, which is the Larceny and the Stagg.
Just kind of because our curiosity was getting the best of us.
It was, yes. So you want to take them through what we're blindly tasting tonight?
Yeah, so to start with, we've got a Stagg that we tried relentlessly here locally in Ohio to get our hands on and weren't able to. Fortunately, we've got a great family in Phoenix, Arizona, and they were able to get this for us and send it to us. So we've got Stagg Barrel Proof, comes in at 133.4 proof. Retail on that bottle is only $49.99.
Correct. And it is a store pick out there from Fry's.
Fry grocery store.
Yep.
And we're going to mention them again.
And in Ohio, I know Brian said that we tried to get our hands on it, and we did. In Ohio, it is only released in the Ohio lottery. And I think that's held quarterly. Is that correct?
I believe quarterly, and that is the only way we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Not that we've ever seen it, but...
Right. I should say the Ohio Liquor Lottery, not
right,
like the...
yeah. OHLQ does
Yes.
do a lottery from time to time, and always hard to get, near impossible to get bottles.
Yep. And we have not won a single drawing ever.
Next up, we've got a 1792 full proof that again we were not able to find here locally. We've got a friend that was able to acquire that bottle for us, and it came out of West Virginia. And so that is a 125 proof single barrel, and that retails at $45.99 if you can get your hands on it. Mm-hmm. And that brings us to the next one, this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Again, it's a single barrel, 9-year, 134.7 proof, and that one retails a little bit higher. That comes in at $84.99.
Yep. And it's the hottest one.
And that is also, that came from Phoenix, Arizona as well. It's also a store pick from Fry's grocery store out there. And that brings us down to the last one, the Larceny Barrel Proof. And that is 124.4 proof. Batch 85, no, B523, I'm sorry. $64.99 is the retail on that bottle. We were able to get our hands on this bottle here locally. It's allocated. Just happened to check OHLQ website one evening, and it was at a liquor store a couple miles down the road on a Friday night. At least we thought it was, and I told Shona, I said, I'm going to run down there and see if they have it. Got there, didn't see it, asked for it. The girl went in the back and got it for me, so it was worth the trip.
Yep.
So we, like Shona said, we have tried the Larceny, we tried the Stagg. Neck pour on both was...
More.
Yeah, they met business, but we've tried them again. We let them sit probably a couple weeks, tried them again, and they were...
Probably only a week.
They had changed.
Yeah.
They really had changed, being opened.
They didn't like cool off or anything.
No, you're not gonna feel like you're skiing downhill or anything like that when you're drinking it.
So I have to admit, I'm kind of nervous for this lineup.
A little bit excited too, though, right?
A little bit excited, but a little bit nervous.
But a lot of bit nervous.
A lot of bit nervous. So if my facial expressions show how hot it is,
Let's just hope we don't
please
choke.
forgive me.
Let's just don't choke on it.
All All right, so we did have someone else pour these for us, and we have the answer key right here. They've not been poured super long this evening, maybe a half hour, 40 minutes at the most. I can't remember. So
And these two were fresh open tonight.
yes, they are both neck pours.
So that's going to be
And
a
I
treat.
will tell you, I had him only pour us 3/4 of an ounce of each of them,
Okay.
being that they are so hot, and because I just didn't want to waste them, and I don't think I need.
So judge quick.
Well, I mean, you can always pour a little bit more if you need to,
I don't know if I can
after you
handle
find
it.
out what they are.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous also.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Well,
That's
good.
a lot of proof.
Um,
Usually, like if we do something like this, we get one hot bottle.
I know. Here we go.
Here we go. Cheers.
Definitely smell the heat on the nose. A little bit of sweetness. I smell some like pepper and caramel.
I'm not saying there isn't any sweetness there, but heat is all I'm getting.
When it first hits your palate, it's sweet. As it finishes, you get the warmth and then the heat that's going down.
But you know, it's not a bad finish. It's not there is heat. When it hit my palate, there was heat. I did get maybe some caramel out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a honey, because it's kind of to use a word we hear a lot, it's kind of a thicker viscosity,
Yeah.
creamy kind of, which makes me think honey.
It's good.
It
It's
is-
warm.
it is.
It is warm.
But it's not overbearing.
I'm getting some fruit in it as well. My second taste, a little bit of dried fruit. It has a great finish. It really does. I mean, obviously it's warm, so it would be great on a cold night to warm your bones. But overall, it's good. I'm not hating it.
I don't know, it's really warm, but it's not a vulgar or an overbearing warm. It's just steady. It does bring the heat, but it's not. I could drink it pretty easily.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really picking up any oakiness or char or anything.
I didn't get oak or char out of it
Yeah.
at all.
I don't know what made me think of that, but normally on something barrel proof like that.
Yeah, I
you
was
get-
looking for it really on the first sip, and I didn't sense it there.
No. It's
Okay.
good. So
You ready?
I'm ready for number 2. Again, sweet on the nose. This one, I'm not feeling as much heat on the nose.
That's sweeter to me on the nose.
I get vanilla.
I'm sure there's heat there.
This one has a very pleasant nose. It's like, yum. Now I'm nervous to taste it. I'm hoping it holds up to the nose on it. It's
Lots of caramel,
yeah, and soft vanilla notes.
vanilla,
You get the oak on this one.
but I don't get heat.
See, when it first hit my palate, I got the heat, and then I was picking up the flavors.
Did it pass pretty quickly?
It passed
though?
really quickly. Like once I was swallowing, the heat was gone. But initial sip of it, the heat was there.
I don't know how to get rid of it, but I feel like the heat I've got right now is still left over from one.
this one, it really does have a pleasant nose. I wish that you could truly smell, because I think you would really like what you're smelling on this one.
You smell that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving what I'm tasting.
Second sip, the heat isn't as apparent. It's there, it just like a little bit, not like number one.
There's definitely, yes, I'm not saying there's not heat. Man, it's just so,
It's smooth,
yeah, smooth. That's exactly right.
very smooth. It's, I can't really say it's full of flavor. I mean, you're getting the oak, you're getting soft touches of vanilla, like not overbearing, but then the caramel hits.
Yep.
It's good.
It's very good.
It's
very
pleasant.
good. So far, that's 2 winners.
Now, I will say both of these so far, and I like proofier bourbons. I feel like they're both hotter than what we're normally drinking. And I know we've drank some higher proof stuff. So now, to be fair, I've really not had a straight pour tonight or anything like that. So
Yeah, I didn't have anything tonight.
that could be part of it.
And like you said, we do like proofier bourbons, but generally our ceiling, only because our ceiling kind of goes to about 120. And a lot of those that we have at that proof don't drink like that. They drink more like 100
They
proof.
do. They're nice and smooth.
But these are definitely our highest proof, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'd have to turn around and validate that, but I would go with that.
You gonna do number
All right,
3?
Number 3. Wow, that one really has. I thought number 2 had a great nose on it.
I don't get any heat at all in that.
This is just full of, I want to say, caramel marshmallows, like toasted marshmallows drizzled with caramel. It's,
God, you make me hungry.
wow. Maybe it's toasted marshmallows with butterscotch on it.
What else you got?
I don't know, because I'm thinking it's more of a butterscotch instead of caramel. Yummy. Definitely get the heat.
Way more heat.
Whew.
Now, oh, wow.
But the finish is nice. The taste.
When that first hit my palate, I was sensing all those things you were talking about. At first I thought, oh, that's the marshmallow. And then I was like, no, that's not marshmallow, that's caramel. And then it was like, forget about all that, because I just lit a forest fire. Whew.
Yeah, it's definitely warm. Very warm. Still warm. Still warm.
No.
Yep, still warm.
Wow.
However, even though it's still warm, very nice lingering taste.
Flavor
with it.
was great. Flavor is great, but
You just got to get over that punch to the tongue.
It opened my sinuses.
I had to say, I think I know which one this is, based on the hole that it's burnt in my tongue.
And based on our previous tasting, I'm going to say that is Stagg.
I have to say it's Stagg too, because
I don't remember all that flavor before.
I don't either, but it has been open for at least a little over a week. Because all I could keep telling Bryan was, it burned a hole in my tongue. And this one kind of did that. So
It was, and I probably took a little bigger sip than I would have because of all the flavor that you were sensing on the nose.
still getting a quite delightful nose.
And honestly, the heat passed pretty quick for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But
It was just
punches.
yeah.
It like punches
It
you.
brings it.
Whew. And you know what? The Stagg isn't the hottest that we have tonight.
Once it gets here, it's like, what do I do with it?
His eyes are watering. You can't really see, but out of the corner of his eyes, they're watering.
You can't force it down. You're just like waiting. Is it gonna go, or is my throat? Am I dying right now?
You know what? It's good though. It truly is good. And I bet you that if we got used to drinking these higher proofs, like that, it wouldn't even bother us. But we're not used to drinking this high of proof all the time on a regular basis. The nose on it is wonderful.
The flavor is awesome.
It is.
And the heat does not last that long. Like almost as soon as you get it down, it takes it with it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. The heat doesn't follow it.
No, I felt like number one, the heat kind of followed it.
Yeah.
Not horribly, but it was like, cold winter. While you're out plowing snow, I'll be in here drinking it.
I'll take a flask of that with me. Whew.
Number
We'll
4.
have to remember to see if that's Stagg.
Okay, we are saying number 3 is Stagg. We'll have to see if we're correct. But I think we're both pretty, well, we haven't tasted this one yet, so we'll see.
There's a little more heat on the nose of this one.
This one, it has a pleasant nose, but it's not nearly as pleasant as what number 3 was.
3 fooled you though.
Oh, it did.
3 didn't have the heat on the nose.
No, this one definitely does. It has a good, I'm picking up some flavors on the nose. It has a little bit of sweetness and stuff. It's more of a tobacco type smell with some sweetness to it.
That is really good.
It is good.
Actually,
balanced.
you mentioned butterscotch earlier, but I really get butterscotch there. It's almost like you're sucking on one of those Werther's butterscotch candies.
Yeah, this is shockingly warm, but not, it only lasts, after number 3 burn a hole in my tongue, this one isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could go out and get a hot coal out of the fire right now.
Wow, that one's very, very well balanced.
Now, if Sean's watching this, Sean is who got us this bottle. You know he's laughing.
Oh, you know it.
You know he's laughing.
Regardless whichever one it is.
I texted him with our first thoughts on it, and I got some laughing vulgarities back at me.
That one,
I really like that.
second sip though, it kind of packed a few punches. And I may, because I was swirling it, so the roof of my mouth got like boom, boom, boom.
Still nothing like 3 though.
No, but it's hot. I would say this was one of the higher ones.
I would recommend not swirling 3.
Yeah, don't swirl 3 or 4. I'm wishing I could tell you some flavors, but I really did swirl it, and I think it got just my mouth on fire at the moment.
I did get a really strong butterscotch flavor out of that. And I swirled, I felt I did. Now, We gotta go back through them again.
I know, but I feel like I need to give number 4 one more shot because I didn't get to pick up any flavors because it really, really.
I'm gonna wait while you do that.
Okay. Sweetness when it really first hits your palate, then the heat takes over, but not the burn a hole in your tongue heat, just the overall heat. And then you're picking up some oak, and then some sweetness, which may be the butterscotch. Did you say?
That's what I thought it was.
Some fruitiness, definitely some fruitiness. It's still just a nice fruitiness finish. It's good. It's very good.
Just easy on the swirl.
Yeah, don't do the Kentucky chew on it. Because if it even goes up your nose a little bit, you're not going to be. Sorry, Alexa just spoke to us.
She does that sometimes.
On Tuesday nights, she reminds us to take up the trash.
She did last night and we were already in bed.
Yeah.
But we had already taken the trash.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready to do this again?
I think so. All right, we'll try to make this quick.
Okay, number 1. I don't know what that is, but it's going to go into, regardless of what it is, it's going to go into a category of it doesn't drink like that. It doesn't drink as high a proof as it probably is.
No, and I guess after tasting these other ones, it's kind of falling flat for me. I don't know if that's
get that at
fair.
all. Yeah, that's
Because I know it was good the first time around, but I think
could be your taste buds are just fried.
might be fried. Might be.
Now, the first time around, I felt like we were really going to kick this tasting right in the butt because these first 2 were so good, so pleasant, so mild. But then here come the big dog.
The nose.
One, 3.
Oh, I do it. If you could just, make this your cologne, I would smell you all the time. I would not. It has such a delightful. It really does smell like toasted, like when you're toasted marshmallows. And I know you don't get that because you can't smell that well, or at all. But when you burn a marshmallow and it has that toasty smell and then some drizzle of, I'm thinking it might be butterscotch and not caramel. But it's,
I'll tell you, the longer I sniff on it, the more the heat's coming. And I didn't get that the first time.
Still, again, punches you in the tongue, but then the flavors start coming in. And the finish is absolutely wonderful.
It's hard to describe what that heat does because it's...
On the finish this time, it's leaving that cherry note that I really love. But it takes a while to get there.
Yeah. It has to dig its way out.
Yeah.
This was a great flight that you thought of.
Whew. Shouldn't have done this on a school night.
Maybe should have split them in half. Put a couple softer ones with a couple.
You know, the nose on this one I'm not loving as much. I guess the nose on this one is just so good that nothing will compare to number 3. This time I'm picking up a little bit of ethanol, which I didn't really get the first time, but nice balanced. I mean,
For me, that butterscotch is just so prevalent when it first hits your palate. I gotta put them in order.
yep, gotta put them on order.
Oh.
You got them in your order?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I got them in order.
All right, so let's figure out what these bad boys were. First, you know what? Let me just tell you what 1, 2, 3, and 4 were, and then we can pick out which ones for. I'm anxious to see if number 3 was Stagg.
It's gotta be. It's just gotta be.
Number 3 was Stagg. So number 1 was Larceny. Number 2, I guess if we put in order for you guys, number 1 was Larceny. Number 2 was 1792. Number 3 was Stagg, and number 4 was Elijah Craig. Bryan, go ahead and tell everybody what your order was.
Okay, so my number 1 is number 1 Larceny. Next, I went to number 4, which is the Elijah Craig. Actually, the highest proof bourbon we had tonight at 134.7. Then I go to number 2, which is a full proof 1792. And then Stagg.
Came in last for
And
you?
you know, for me, here's my take on the Stagg. I don't hate it. However, it's near impossible to get. And I don't know that it does, I'm not into torture. I mean, I'm not, I don't know that I would dig and fight to try to get another bottle of it.
Right, I get that. Absolutely. You know, we've talked a lot about that recently, whereas there are so many bourbons on the shelf that you can get on a regular basis that are better than having to stand in line at 4 a.m. and wait and get. And, you know, we did one of those with the Woodford wheat and the sweet wheat, because the 1792 sweet wheat you can't get unless you're going to stand in line, and it has to be, you know, distributed that day, and you don't even know if it's coming out that day.
Or you know
in
somebody
Ohio
that picks one up and they're willing to
part
barter.
with it, yeah. And so, but the Woodford wheat is on the shelf every day, and it's so good.
Yeah.
So why do you put yourself through that? And we go back and forth on that now.
Yeah.
Not going to say we don't look and we don't go stand in line.
Well, clearly,
But
yeah, obviously we wanted one because,
yeah.
you know, it's, everybody talked about Stagg. Oh, you got to have a Stagg.
Yeah, and so I completely agree with you. I will also say that even those wee little, tiny little tastes that we did, my nose is numb. So I apologize.
Well,
But-
my lips, by the time we started back through on our second taste, my lips were burning.
So
So what's your order?
we know your number 1 was Larceny, correct?
Yep, number 1 is Larceny.
So my number 1 was number 2, which is the 1792 full proof. And then number 3, which is the Stagg, and I'm going to tell you why the Stagg came in number 2 for me.
The nose.
The nose and that cherry note I picked up. Now, I do not enjoy my tongue getting a whole burn in it, by no means. However, I think if once this opens up some a little bit more, that cherry note was delicious.
And
At the end of that second tasting.
I may change, but boy, it's hard to believe it's going to change that much.
But it is hot. I don't know if I could really honestly sit down and enjoy a pour of all of these. And maybe it was wrong to do all of these foolproof ones in one setting. However, I thought it would be fun because you need to compare apples to apples to see which one's your favorite.
Well, and I'm going to be honest too. It's probably been about 2 weeks since we opened that and had a pour of it. And we've intentionally waited this long to put it on the show in hopes that
It would open
being
up.
opened.
But 2 weeks isn't really that long.
No, but 2 weeks has done wonders for some other stuff we've had.
Right. So my third place is number 1, Larceny, which puts Elijah Craig in my last place.
Boy, we're way off.
We are complete opposite.
Yep.
So,
Elijah Craig was my second choice.
yeah,
Behind Larceny. And then the foolproof.
the 17, they're all foolproof.
The 1792
So, 1792.
foolproof. Yeah, and then that Stagg guy down there in the end, which I'm not going to dump that out.
No,
I'm going to drink all these while I'm editing.
I don't know if I am, guys.
You will.
I might dump some in his because
No.
he loves his 1.5 ounce pour.
She has been known to do that.
I only did 0.75 ounces. So I feel like he got cheated.
I'm okay with that.
And so I may need to give him some of mine.
Well, I guess overall, I think the single barrel is a little easier to find than probably some of these others.
Absolutely. In Ohio, this one here, this one is a store pick. However, in Ohio, you can find this one.
Yeah, I've been seeing it pop up quite a bit in my travels, in my hunts.
It's really the only one in Ohio that you can find
Yep.
in kind of sort of a regular basis.
I've never seen
No, never.
1792.
Not even on the
foolproof.
lottery picks.
No, I've never seen that in Ohio.
The Stagg is only a lottery pick. Larceny, when they release those on I think it's not a quarterly, it's like
I'm not sure.
every 4-month type release. We can find those.
And we haven't tried the regular Larceny.
We have not.
I guess we just wanted to go foolproof and see. I had been told that the black label was the one you wanted.
And I mean, to be honest, we have found that when we're buying just the straight bourbons, the 80s and 90, like low 90 proofs and stuff like that, they're not as flavorful and they're not as good as what I'm not even going to say a single barrel, but a small batch or something with a higher proof is.
And it's not that they're bad
No,
necessarily.
they-
It's just they don't have the complexity
Right.
that
So,
some of these have.
I'm going to compare it to a wine drinker because that's what I originate from.
won't
So,
hold that against her.
when I first started drinking wine, I started with sweet wine, like most people, not all people, but most people, especially here in Ohio. And a lot of Ohioans think the only type of wine is sweet wine. But as I started drinking wine over the years, I only want a dry wine. The sweet wines actually kind of nauseate me. Now they do. Not at first, but now they do. And so I think it's the same to me with bourbons as I actually drink bourbons longer than Bryan has. I used to drink them on a regular basis where he would, mix like Captain and Coke or whatever. And I was probably drinking bourbon way before I should have been drinking whiskeys and bourbon, to be honest. But it wasn't my go-to. Wine's always been my go-to. But when we first started investigating and learning more about bourbons, you know, we were both on the lower 80s to 90s. And I think as just like wine, as you get more into it, the higher proofs are more enjoyable because you're picking up more flavors. You're enjoying it. You're not mixing them. You're not drinking them on ice. You're drinking them neat. So they're bigger, bolder taste to you.
And to compare with your wine journey, where you will occasionally drink a semi-sweet. You call it semi-sweet. I call it still very, very, very dry. But whatever. That kind of is where we're at now when we drink a 90 or 95 proof bourbon. That's our semi-sweet.
Sort of, yes.
Where we can,
I see your...
you know, we don't want to go 110 and we certainly don't want 80. So we kind of pick that happy medium.
Yep.
And it's relaxing. Where these are kind of, you gotta get gamed up for them. You gotta be ready for the game.
You have to man up and you have to get your shoulder pads on. You gotta get ready for the fight.
You gotta bring your A game for these bad boys.
Now, to be honest, all very good, but we'll have to grow into these a little bit more.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say.
Let them open up a little bit more. I would not turn my nose up at any of the four of these. Like if someone poured me a glass of this, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to sip it probably for a couple hours, but I'm going to sip it and it's good. Chances
are, if somebody just pours you a pour of Stagg, they don't really know what they've got.
Well, if they get a Stagg, they know what they got.
Well, but they don't realize how hard that is to get.
Right. So, regardless, all four are good. No complaints about any of them. 1792 Foolproof happened to be my favorite, and the Larceny Foolproof happened to be Bryan's favorite. Again, not turning my nose up at any of them.
Well, that's really good, and the 1792 was my third pick. But really, 1 through 3 for me they were neck and neck, where my last Stagg for me, which was
Second,
your number 2.
Number 2 for me.
This was clear from the start that's just, for me, that's just too proofy.
But it's lower than Elijah Craig.
I know, but it drinks a lot higher than Elijah Craig.
But it has that cherry note.
I can get a cherry out of the refrigerator.
All right, regardless. We'll be back from... Today's Wednesday night, so we'll be back Friday night probably.
Friday.
Bryan will give us a basement update on Friday night after the show.
Hopefully a good one.
Yeah, Bryan, it's a good one.
We're in pretty good shape right now. Electric's almost done. Shona and I started insulation this evening. Still got a long way to go on that, but working together on it, it's going really quick. So I would say by the end of the weekend, definitely we should have insulation done.
Oh, definitely.
And Shauna's got tongue and groove almost ready for the bar ceiling.
Yep.
She's got 3 boards left to do, and we'll be ready to hang that. We just have to have the insulation done first.
Yep. So once we get the insulation done, the bar roof done, then I'm going to start stoning.
Stone. Wrapping that bar in stone.
Yep. Can't wait to see that.
Gorgeous. So, and then like I think I mentioned to you guys, the bar top arrived. So we're excited and leery, I guess, to do that.
I'm not leery.
She's not leery.
Hey, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Some things YouTube just can't
easy.
teach you, and I don't know that pouring a concrete bar top, I'm not sold on it yet.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work ourselves. We're very much DIYers, and I've seen these young kids pouring concrete tops, and they turn out fabulous. So I have no doubt that we can do this.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay, guys, 4 great bottles. Any questions we haven't covered, hit us in the comments and we'll be glad to try to answer. Shona and I both monitor those comments and I think we respond to every comment we get. We try to.
If we've missed you, we're very sorry because
Yeah,
we
it
don't
was-
think we ever miss anybody.
It was not intentional. So we've had a lot of new followers lately and
Thank you.
they contribute a lot of information through comments and we appreciate all that. That's exciting to us. We like it when people are involved. So again, 4 great bottles. Even the Stagg, you got to try them all.
Stagg is good. It's my number 2.
Oh, the cherry, you got to have the cherry. There's no worm in the bottom of the Stagg bottle, but apparently there is a cherry in the bottom of it.
I do like tequila.
So thanks for joining us, guys, and have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.